So this is another U.S. history video. I'm just sharing some things I've learned recently. A lot of us were taught that most of the human trafficking transactions occurred at like slave auctions or big crowded places, and that's actually not 100% true. So while Charleston and New Orleans were the two of the largest human trafficking enslavement markets in the United States, I want to primarily focus on New Orleans. Between 1815 and 1819, 33% of the enslaved Americans who were brought to New Orleans to be sold came from Virginia and the Carolinas. That number jumped up to 77% by the 1820s. In the 1820s, an entire third of the enslaved human beings who were trafficked out of New Orleans came from Virginia alone. Because of this increase in enslaved human beings coming from other states, Louisiana literally passed a law that required any enslaved person being sold in New Orleans from another state had to come with a certificate of good character. There were so many enslaved people being trafficked out of Virginia that between 1820 and 1860, their population did not grow because everyone was being trafficked out. In fact, of the enslaved children aged 10 and under in Virginia in 1820, only 3 of every 4 who lived would still be in Virginia 10 years later. 84% of the enslaved human beings trafficked out of New Orleans between 1829 and 1831 were between the ages of 11 and 24, mostly male and mostly sold off from their families alone. Even the women who were in the childbearing age, 93% of them were sold off without their children. Of the 4,000 plus certificates of good character that we still have archived, it shows that 89% of those 4,000 who were sold away from their families, these transactions occurred Monday through Friday. Selling people in the United States was not this big extraordinary event anymore. In fact, that was actually a deterrent because it could drive up the price of an individual that was being sold. Instead, these transactions would occur on an individual basis in your bars, at someone's house, etc. And based on the records, these sales were not just about, I want to take this human being and traffic them to that plantation, but it was about, I want to take this human being whom I own and I want to turn them into cash. I do not care where they end up. I just want $500 right now.